Understandably, many people believe that is just not good enough. We have a ton more information on this story on WGRZ.com. And in researching this story, my colleague Danny Spiewak and I found out that the money designed to improve the system, which it needs improving, isn't getting to where it was designed. And Danny has that part of the report.
Well, Michael, you got to go back to 1991 to really understand the context of this. 1991, that's when New Yorkers started paying a surcharge on their cell phone bills. The revenue was originally designed to help fund local 911 operations, but it's now to the point where you pay $1.20 to the state, and then if you live in Erie County, it's an extra 30 cents to the county. But that state money isn't going where it was originally intended to go.
It takes a lot of money for 911 centers to keep up with the latest technology, and that's why you pay $1.20 to the state on your cell phone bill each month as a public safety communications surcharge to fund these improvements. In theory, that is.
Some of it comes here, but not nearly as much as we would like.
This has been an ongoing problem with the 911 surcharge money.
Republican State Senator Patrick Gallivan co-sponsors a bill to return 58% of the surcharge money to the counties for 911 improvements. The bill has a Republican sponsor in the Senate and a Democratic sponsor in the Assembly. Here's why legislators from both parties want more local reimbursement. In Erie County, for example, cell subscribers paid a combined $8.8 million in surcharge money to the state in 2014. The county got $220,000 back for 911 improvement funding. That's 2.5%. Part of the surcharge revenue does pay for grants, which counties can apply for, but it's never guaranteed.
I think it becomes even more of an acute problem now because of the high cost of moving to the next generation.
Return those dollars that the state is actually hoarding and give it back to the county where it belongs. Give the monies back to the services that were provided on 911. And that's all what this legislation is saying.
At the state level, some of the surcharge revenue funds state police and other public safety missions, but some of the revenue winds up nowhere near public safety. In 2013, New York collected more than $180 million from this surcharge and then shifted $20 million of it to the general fund. The FCC's annual report to Congress reveals that New York was one of just 6 states to divert 911 surcharge money to another part of the budget in 2013. 3 years ago, Two on Your Side's Dave McKinley asked former Lieutenant Governor Robert Duffy about this tactic of shifting money away from its intended purpose.
Well, I know that there's been certainly a strong disagreement with some of the 911 center directors. I think it stops with Governor Cuomo. I think one of the things that the governor is doing is going back and trying to look at making changes that really hit on that very topic.
The 2015 enacted budget financial plan reveals that the state plans to divert more money, $50 million, to the general fund this year, and projects the state will divert $50 million next year.
The fact that the governor has tried to divert more to the general fund, I think, is problematic for our counties and problematic for upstate.
The governor's office has not yet responded to requests for comment, but in a response to the FCC in 2013, the state claimed the transfer of these funds was authorized by statute and did not affect the ability of the state to reimburse municipalities for approved E911 expenditures or otherwise supported several E911 programs.
It's very troublesome. You know, when you think about it, nobody thinks about 911 until they have to make that 911 call. And then that becomes probably the most important call that individual makes.
Which is why the counties are asking for the funding to respond to those calls as best they can.
So while we're talking about this reimbursement from your surcharge and your cell phone bill, remember that some of the money does go to additional grants, and counties can compete for these grants. The budget office told me today that there's $50 million available to counties across the state this year for this very purpose, for first response agency upgrades. There's also an additional $10 million for the operating emergency communications system, but the proposed legislation would greatly increase the amount of reimbursement available for counties. Danny Spiewak, Channel 2 News.